Hey guys, Steve from Cult of Mac here. Now, what's on my iPhone videos are always popular, but not a lot changes on my phone over time, so I don't like to do them too often. But it's now been a good year since I've done one, so let's dive straight in. Okay, so to kick this off, I'm using the iPhone 7 in black. It's not the jet black version, it's just the standard one. I prefer the finish on this to the shiny jet black. It's also the 128 gig version. Usually I go for the lowest storage option, so either 16 gig or 32. But on the day of pre-order for this phone, the only one that I was able to get in time was the 128 gig, so I had to splash a little bit more cash. So my homepage, I like to keep it as stock as possible. That's for two reasons. One, for all the tutorials and how-tos, so it doesn't confuse any new viewers as opposed to what the home screen looks like, so they can easily find the settings or any other apps or features that I'm talking about. Secondly, I've been using iOS since the very first iPod Touch release. From then, I've never really changed it, so I've just got used to the standard layout. So the top few rows, nothing special there. And then 4 rows down, I've got the YouTube app. I'm constantly watching videos on YouTube despite making them. I love watching people like TLD Today, MKBHD, all those kind of things. Also, First We Feast, I love their videos, watching hot ones. So that's why that's there. I've also got the standard Twitter app. I'm not an avid Twitter user. I'm trying to get more into it, but as I'm not using it too often, the standard Twitter client is absolutely fine for me. I've got no problems with it. If you do want to follow me though, SteveSmith10, I'll make sure to leave a link in the description down below as well for that. Back to the homepage. Next to that, I've got the Apple TV remote. I think I mentioned this in the What's on My iPhone SE video. I'm constantly losing the little Apple TV remote, the little Siri remote. So I've got the app on there for when I do. I actually prefer it as well. I find it easier to swipe across. And obviously I can type what I want to search instead of using Siri or anything like that. I can't really get into using Siri on the Apple TV. Next to that, I have got the LifeX app. So I've got a couple of LifeX bulbs dotted around the office, which is next door to where I'm filming now, and at home. So with this app, I can control which lights are on and which are off. I can also control the colours. I can change the colours to pretty much whatever I want. If you'd like to see a full review of the LifeX bulbs, let me know in the comment section down below and I will get straight on that. Then I've got the Podcasts app. I like to listen to something when I'm going to sleep, usually through my Beats X earphones. So the two podcasts that I'm listening to at the moment, obviously the Cultcast first and foremost, and I've also just finished listening to the Not So Corporate podcast from Phantom Media. That's a brilliant one if you're in the media industry at all, or if you're making videos for anyone. Especially for clients, that is a great podcast to listen to. Then I've got Slack, which is what the Cult of Mac team uses to communicate to one another. So if there's a graphic request or I need help with a post for the website, we all chat through there. If you're working with the team and you need a communication app, Slack is the one to go for. If you've not tried it, give it a go. Then I have got the Netatmo security app, but basically I have got 2 smart security cameras at home, one watching the front of the house for where my cars are, just to make sure that they're okay. And then I've got one in the living room for if anyone breaks in, we can identify them. But the app is absolutely great. I can swipe between my 2 cameras, so I can watch live right now what's happening outside my house. And it also does face tracking, so I can see who's home. It won't alert me for my fiance or my daughter walking through the house. And I can also download all of the clips from here, so if there's a clip I want to download, I can do it straight from here and it'll save to my camera roll. Then I've got Flipboard. It's an app that I don't use too often, but I've loved it since the day it was released. I've been using it ever since. Then I've got the BT Wi-Fi app. So I'm with BT Broadband at home, and then I have access to hotspots across the UK, so that's how I access them. And then the Clips app from Apple, which I've not really used that much, but I am planning to. Then the next page, everything is in a folder. I don't like apps spread across the page. I like them to be in individual folders so I can easily go in, find the app I want and come back out. So the first folder is Extras, which mainly comprises of all of the Apple apps I don't use too often. I do use them, but not too often. Then I've got Smart Applications folder, so that is all of the apps that work with a product that I own. So the Sky app, I can record shows when I'm not at home. I can control my TV with it as well, great app. Then I've got the CoolGeek app, which is connected to my smart scales at home. Trying to lose some weight at the moment, so this is great for monitoring my progress so far. I can see how much weight I've lost. What my BMI is from that, things like that. It's a really useful app. Then I've got some other apps for different headphones, speakers, an Apple TV controller that I have. Then I've got Dataman. Dataman is a really useful app which is in the notification center. So when I swipe down here, I can see that I've used 24% of my 4G internet. So then I can make sure I'm not going over. If I'm using it too much, I can scale it back a bit. But it's a really good way to monitor my internet usage. I don't trust all of the UK phone carriers. Having this separate to them means I can keep track of it, and if they say I've used 80% or 100% when in fact I haven't, I've got some form of evidence here. So yeah, that's everything really in the smart applications folder. Then I've got my social folder, so Facebook, Instagram, things like that I need to access, Quartz, Skype. There's not much there that I really need to go through, they're all pretty self-explanatory. Then I've got my shopping folder, so all of my internet shopping that I use, Amazon, PayPal, eBay, all pretty obvious. Then Deliveroo is an app I'm in love with. Now I've got my office in Manchester. I'm not sure if Deliveroo is in the States yet. If it is, let me know in the comments down below. But it will deliver your favourite takeaways to you from restaurants, so like TGI Fridays, Barburrito, places like that don't normally do delivery. They charge a little bit extra on top and they'll deliver it straight to your office or home. Then I've got Rightmove because I'm constantly looking at houses, even though I'm not planning to move anytime soon. Airbnb, Auto Trader, Uber, nothing too interesting there. Barclays for my internet banking, along with HSBC and Lloyds. Then I've got a work folder, so these are all of the apps that I use for Cult of Mac. So I've got YouTube Studio. So from there I can monitor my subscribers, my viewer base, revenue from the channel, all of those kind of things, comments. It's a really nice app if you own a YouTube channel. Definitely download that. It makes things a whole lot easier than using the standard YouTube app. I use that for viewing, and I use this for working on the channel when I'm not with a MacBook or an iPad or anything like that. Then I've got the Gmail app, which I use for my work emails. So the mail app I use for all my personal emails. Then Inbox I use for all my Gmail stuff. So Cult of Mac runs through Gmail. The production company I help out with also runs through Gmail. I've then got the Cult of Mac magazine app. If you've not tried it, check it out. It's great for catching up on the week's news from cultofmac.com. It's a great looking app, it's all animated, and it gets rid of all the adverts that the website has to have. All the pictures are displayed beautifully. If you've not tried it, download it, it's free, so what have you got to lose? Then I've got Fullscreen Creator. We are partnered with Fullscreen for the YouTube channel. They help us out with the music and things like that, so that's why that's there. Dropbox, Social Blade. Social Blade is great for checking your current subscribers. So YouTube tends to take an extra 24 hours to check and verify all of your subscribers and things like that. But Social Blade will give you a live count. So it gives me a live reading at the bottom here. Really great app again if you've got a YouTube channel. Rode Rec is there for when I'm using my microphone that plugs into my iPhone. It's great for recording voices. You can choose how to share them, what format you want them in, and it also makes it harder to record over a saved file already, as I can do that quite often in the voice memos app. I can easily record over a voice memo that I've already done. Okay, then I've got my entertainment folder. So in here I have got Hyper, which is an app which selects a few videos each and every day, personalised to yourself. You can tell it whether you like this video or not, and it'll start to learn the types of videos that you like to watch. And it's just a great way to find videos that I might not normally see. Then I've got Headspace. Headspace is a really good app if you need to clear your mind a little bit, so my mind is constantly thinking about the next video or other work. I find it really hard to turn off quite a lot of the time, so I use this just when I'm calming down and want to relax a little bit. Or it's great for helping me get to sleep. I struggle with getting to sleep a lot of the time, so I tend to play this, listen to it, run through it, and it just helps make you feel a lot more relaxed. Then what else do we have in here? Masquerade. Masquerade's a great one. Use this more for when I'm playing with my daughter. She loves trying on the different faces and hats and things like that. So as you can see, if I want to be a gentleman, I can do that quite easily here. Similar to what you find on Snapchat filters and things like that. I don't use Snapchat, I'm not a fan of it, so I've got that instead. BBC iPlayer, so that's listen to radio and podcasts from the BBC here in the UK. Hodinkee, so I am a huge watch nerd. I love collecting watches, trying to get into some more premium ones, and Hodinkee is one of the places to go if you're into the latest watch news, into collecting reviews, things like that. We've got a brilliant app which collates everything from their website and more straight into an app, so I don't have to navigate there. Then I've got the Netflix app because I'm paying for it, but I barely use it because I don't have time to. But I've just finished watching Luke Cage, so that's why that's there. I finished watching the last one on my phone. So then I've got my photography folder. I've got a lot of apps in here. Some I use, some I don't. For example, Photoshop Fix, I don't think I've ever opened it. If I'm going to use Photoshop for something, I would probably use my MacBook, but it's nice to have. Then Filmic Pro, I have just done a video on how to shoot video like a pro on your iPhone. Filmic Pro is the app to do that. You can change your bitrate, easier to control focus and exposure, things like that. Check out the video if you want to learn more about Filmic Pro, but it's a brilliant app. Costs about $15, but it's well worth it. Then I've got the Zion Play app, which is for the gimbal that I've just reviewed as well. Then Play Memories, because I do have a Sony camera which is filming this shot. Blue. So I can wirelessly transfer photos and videos and such from the camera to my phone if I quickly want to edit them or upload them to Instagram. I've then got an iWork folder. I know it's not called iWork anymore, for keynote pages and things like that. It's not very often that I use them, but there'll be occasions where I need to send an invoice or read a script off here or something like that, so that's why they are there. Then I've got my games folder. I don't play games all too often, as you'll know if you checked out the previous What's on My iPhone video, but I've got a few here for those odd occasions. So I've got Fired Up. So this is a little tap to play and you've got to avoid the fires and then put them out. And it's just like a tap on, like Flappy Bird I think it was called. Similar to that. I'm not very good at it, as you can see. Asphalt 8 and Infinity Blade 3. I tend to have downloaded these games for when I'm doing reviews, because they're some of the most graphic heavy games out there. I tend to use these for showing off the speed of the new iPhones and iPads, things like that. And then I find myself playing them, 3 or 4 months down the line. But yeah, great app there as well. Flip diving, I'm not sure if this was on the iPhone SE video or not, but basically you've got to try and do the perfect dive and it gets higher and higher and then there's obstacles to avoid. So you hold and lean, you got to try and do it at the right moment. You can tuck. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Then I've got some more games here. Again, I don't play these all too often, they're just there. Injustice I do enjoy though, I do play that on occasion. Then I've got a few other ones like Alto's Run, I love that one. I think it's just one of the most beautiful games that has been made for iOS. I could play this for hours probably. So you play Alto running down this mountain, and you've got to try and get as far as you possibly can. And it's just a really fun game, it's really simple. Really nice graphics, and I can find myself playing that for quite a long amount of time. Then there's also Hyperburner, which is one of our recommended games on the website at the moment, or the past few weeks. So you've got to press and hold, and then you can swipe and avoid all the obstacles as you fly through. And I think these are the best types of games for the iPhone. I'm never really a fan when someone tries to make a PlayStation game for the iPhone. It just seems too complicated and never really works too well. And when you let go, it pauses. So that was my games. Then the last folder I've got on here is for Thea, which is my daughter. So I've got the YouTube Kids app, which is great. It filters out a lot of videos that maybe she shouldn't be watching. And then I've also got the Santa Claus app. So you can schedule a call from Santa. He'll say a name, mention something about her that he knows. And it's a really nice app just for keeping the magic alive and getting her excited for Christmas. Last but not least, I've got Hoop. Hoop is great for finding activities in your local area on particular days as well. So if you're stuck for something to do, if you've got kids, this is a great app. I'm not sure if it's available in the States. If it is, let me know in the comment section. But yeah, that's mostly what's on my phone. Nothing too interesting in my notification center. Well, that's it for this video, and that is everything on my iPhone. Hopefully I've helped you find an app that you didn't know about before. Let me know in the comments section though if you've got any app recommendations for ones that I should check out. I will definitely be reading the comments below for the next few days. Also, if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up and hit subscribe so you don't miss a single video from me and Cult of Mac, and I will catch you in the next one.